good evening. Um,
I
I would like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself first, and then we have a little deep dive into the person Petar and what you're doing, where you're coming from, where you're heading at, and yeah, I'm really curious because I've been following your account for quite a while now, and now I'm happy that you're here.
yeah, thank you for having me. So yeah, my name is Petar, and I'm from Croatia, so my English is maybe little bit crooked, but it's okay. Like I'm probably here, and people know me because of the company I founded, so Source Robotics. But how it all started, I was probably like interested in robotics since high school. I went to a technical high school here in Croatia, and like I had a lot of passion for robotics since then. But like more passion came into my life in like college days, and I became like interested in building robotic arms. And it all started like with the 3D printer. So if you want to build anything, just get a 3D printer and you can do it. Learn CAD, watch some YouTube tutorials, and that's it. But yeah, so I in college I started building like my first robotic arm. It's called Phase 4 now, and it was I started to build it like my personal project, but at the same time the college I went to like caught on, and they then started financing it, and it was like collaboration with my college, and it was my like bachelor's thesis, yeah.
Mhm.
And at the same time, like I was open sourcing everything from that robot, and I don't know, it became it started my journey, like for my passion to build a company and everything, because it got a lot of traction, and it is still actually a popular robotic arm, but I like to call it a legacy robot because I'm not supporting it and I forgot everything how it's built and stuff like that. But there's tutorials there. And yeah, after that, I built another robotic arm for my master's thesis. It was more like experimentally focused. And after that, I like had a few jobs and everything. I was doing that like a hobby on the side. And that's when the like I came to idea to build a one that like following the success of Phase 4, I came to an idea to build a new robotic arm that will be also be open source, be higher performance, cheaper, and at the same time like commercially viable for me to open a company and to like sell something and make a company. And yeah, that's basically it, how it all started.
Yeah, let me ask a few questions here. One of the things I'm interested in is, I mean, is there something you said it started in high school? So is this something that you are in an environment that you are coming out of? Is that something that you've been familiar with? Because sometimes the people I'm talking to, they have brothers or uncles or fathers or mothers that are with in yeah the field of engineering. But how was it for you?
Well, not really. I was always like interested in tech. Like my mother and father are like not tech savvy at all, and like nobody in actually my family was like really tech savvy. But I was always like surrounded with the friends that know that stuff. So from my middle school and in high school, so I went to technical high school. So all the people I'm hanging out now are people from that era that are like tech savvy. So yeah, not really. Like. It's just some passion for me, and it started like that. That's why I went to that high school and college.
So which city are you from?
From capital, so Zagreb in Croatia.
Mm. Mm. I mean, I don't know if my audience knows this, but the Balkan countries are the ones with the highest majority of very young people. So in Germany, for example, the demographics are over 50% over 50 years old already, right? So you have a very old um, demographic, but yeah, the Balkan, due to different kind of reasons, they are very young, they're very tech savvy, as you said, and yeah, interesting that you said this is something that you are now surrounded with friends and family from university. You had support from the university, you said, and yeah, I talked very often to founders who are coming out of academia, and sometimes it's a project that is going together with the industry. But here you said this is a private project, right? So this is something that is on an amateur side, but you are trying to push this amateur hobby onto a professional level, right? So who is your main target group, you would say so?
Yeah, just to get back to that Balkan era, yeah, I would like disagree. We are also like aging population because a lot of young people are like just going out to work.
Okay.
So, but generally, yeah, it's like we are younger population, but it's changing.
Hmm.
Um, so for the second question, yeah, at the beginning, the first robot, it was just a hobby project. So I was just doing it for myself. Then the college caught on, and it became like for education. But the Parallel 6, the latest robotic arm that's our main product, it is mostly for like education and research. But we also have like a few companies dropping in and like testing it and doing stuff with it. And I would say like a lot of people are like makers or early adopters. So it's like unlisted people. Like I don't know how to call them, but they're just tinkering around and just doing it for fun, I would say.
Oh, because if you don't mind me asking, so when you're thinking about a business model and a sustainable business model, but also doing things on your own, and as you said, there is now much newer versions. There's now a much newer version, better version, more accurate version of the robot arm. Yes, so maybe you can tell me a little bit about how the company really came together and who is conducted of. Is it small? Is it already a big team of 5, 10, 15 people?
So the company was founded in the February this year,
Mm.
officially. So it's really young. And team is like I'm the only employed, but I have like a lot of support, and I'm hoping that I will employ someone soon. So in terms of what was the second question? Sorry.
No, no, I was just curious how, because in the bubble that we are in, so to speak, you were talking about thinkers and then builders. There's a lot of people who are thinking, can I do my own startup? What is necessary for this? Everyone tells me I
Yeah.
just need a computer. So maybe you can tell us how this really took off.
Yeah, so my idea was firstly, so I had like a business plan. I didn't like went into this like blindly. So like following the success of previous arms, I knew my like target demographic of people, age, everything. And so our plan is first to like target those like early adopters, students, somebody that needs a like robotic arm to make a master's project, bachelor's project like I did. And so we are offering them mostly open source, almost everything. All the code is open source. You can 3D print it, and you can like either use off-the-shelf electronics or buy it from us. So that is where most of our revenue comes from. But like in the future, we plan to more focus like maybe equipping labs with robotic arms because now you can like in Croatia it's mostly you have one robot arm for a class of 30 students. You know, it's not
Mm.
really a real environment to work with. So I mean, it's like that everywhere because robots are expensive, of course. And so you're either like doing on simulators work or just not working on robotic arms. But yeah, the idea was then to branch out to like equipping colleges and maybe like small businesses because they're already like trying out our robots. And yeah, that's it. And uh, we also do all the software work. So for the low level stuff, for the electronics, and for high level stuff. So there's like potential here to do like some contracting work. And because we are doing all of our electronics, we are also like selling it so somebody can use our like motor drivers or motherboards to build their own robots and that will maybe even become our main like business model just selling components and for other people to build stuff.
Just just a few weeks ago, I was talking to Jacopo. So he is this co-founder and CEO of Ducky Town. So their main target group is yeah, professors and, as you said, people in academia that are interested in really doing something and building something in robotics. They are quite I mean, the company exists longer than February, obviously. Um, it's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done, especially with universities. Sometimes the cycle time is very long because processes at universities are very slow, and sometimes the budget is very limited. Do you and Croatia is, I mean, how is expansion going? Are you already in different European markets? Are you solely based online business, or do you have someone who is really doing, let's let's call it like really approaching universities and doing
No,
sales
so
work?
so most of our customers are from USA, Germany, and like Eastern Asia, so like Japan and Korea, something in
Mm.
China. I mean, there's also like other countries dropping in, but main market is USA, Germany, and like Japan, Korea. And like since I'm in some startup accelerators and I'm getting all the advice, but and everybody's surprised that like I'm doing no approaching to people. So everybody is approaching us, and in the near future that will have to change to like increase revenue. We'll have to have like a strategy, but yeah, we are just selling exclusively from the content from the social media and like blog posts and like maybe word of mouth because like we've seen like so we have one order from Switzerland and then 5 days later we have like 10 orders from Switzerland and it's not like a coincidence. Somebody told someone, hey, this robot is good, buy it, and so yeah, that's mostly
Um,
how we are operating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy. This is where you see this product market fit. If you almost do no advertisement,
Yeah.
you don't do any outreach, and people are really asking for the product. Just today, I had a talk with a founder who, like, yeah, these kind of questions, right? When do I have product market fit? How do I know what I should build, right? I mean, you're in the lucky position where you actually build something that people really want and approaching you. But do you think this is something because of the topic, because there's so much to learn? And I mean, robot arms exist already, right? There is a market for robot arms, industrial ones, cobots, but there's not too much happening on the university side, which is good and affordable. So do you think this is something that you specifically were aiming for? Or do you think this is something that just happened because you were let's in the right niche and doing the right things at the right time?
Well, I would say it's a bit of luck, but I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. So that Phase 4 robotic arm was like made 6 years ago, I would say. So I was building like my channels, social media channels, and GitHub accounts, and traction and connections. And so that first robot was like really good, but it had its like downfalls. It was like 16 kilograms of filament. It was heavy. It was like imprecise and stuff like that. But like I learned a lot from that. So what people want, so they don't want like loud robots, heavy robots. They have a certain budget. They want certain like repeatability. So if the robot is like plus minus 1 centimeter, it's practically useless. And so like in that span of like 5 years until now, um, I was like thinking how I can make it. So like what actuators, what size of the robot, and I think the success came because like I found the perfect fit, some perfect middle ground where like the robot is not like human level size, it's a bit smaller, and you have precision gearboxes, and the control software and electronics is really good. So you have like that near industrial performance for cheap and for an affordable price, and everything can be like 3D printed because of that. So I think that was something that was missing in the market, where people wanted to build like really cool and useful robot arms, but they will always failing at one of those steps. So either affordability, repeatability, precision, or like size of the robot, safety maybe even. And I think we found like the perfect like sweet spot, and we will
Mm.
try to stay there because so we're also making one new robotic arm that is like kind of secretive, but it is still keeping that like same size, that is smaller than human arms, because we did research. If we want to make it bigger, you would need to, so if you want to make it bigger, you would need to do aluminum parts and bigger motors, expensive motors. So if you keep to that smaller, a bit smaller size, it's still useful. You can still do useful work, but have everything 3D printed. So if you are larger and 3D print everything, you get that material flex. The motors maybe get too hot and like deform the plastic, and the gearboxes get too large, too heavy. So I think the people are failing a lot in finding that sweet spot where you can 3D print everything. And a lot of companies are even like I saw on Twitter, a lot of companies are 3D printing their robots, but they're failing in that aspect where they're making it too large and everything 3D printed, but too large. So yeah.
What is your take on this new hype, right? Since ChatGPT 2 years ago, almost, right? 2 years ago, we have this embodied AI hype at the moment, right? And I think on this podcast alone, I spoke to 3 or 4 people, no, three, that are building open source 3D printed humanoid robots. What is your take on that?
Well, I'm not expert in the
Mm.
AI side, but on the like mechanical, on the general robotic side, I think I'm like quite good. And so I'm hoping this AI robotics thing is not like a bubble that will burst, because that hype and why everyone is building the robots. So Figure AI, Tesla, Sanctuary, Agility, everybody is like building robotic humanoid robots, and a lot of
Why
money
not
is,
robotics?
yeah, a lot of money is being pumped in. But my take is that a lot of them are like they're trying to solve a lot of problems at once. So like I like the take from the Sanctuary AI. So they have that Phoenix humanoid, and they're focusing just on torso and two arms and head. So they're trying to first solve the manipulation problem, and then later like walking and that other stuff. Because I mean, and you're doing humans are doing useful work with the hands, so you're not doing useful work mostly with the legs in the factory. So you're like sitting somewhere and doing assembly task. And I think a lot of these smaller companies that are trying to build humanoids are failing there, where they're trying to like make a robot walk and then grab stuff, and it's just extremely difficult problem. I mean, even Tesla and Figure and those big players are having problems with solving everything. So I think the solution is like first solve a single arm, like doing cool tasks, then add a second arm ahead, and then if you solve that, just glue in legs or wheels, and yeah, that's it.
But here we are talking about the big player where the money is, right? I was more concentrated and focused on the smaller in the bubble we are in on Twitter, for example. So the smaller, like the guys that are building humanoid robots on an open source platform, so to speak, where you 3D printing the parts that are necessary. What is because this is something that is closer to what you're doing, right?
Yeah, that's that my arm form and heavy, and what I think. Um, I don't know. I think they sadly they will fail in that like aspect, because if they don't like build their own motors, drivers, and everything, it will just be too expensive for like to replicate and to. I mean, we didn't even see a lot of walking robots, and I was following the quadruped robot scene, and was parts of the not the custom gearboxes, motors, and everything, and they need to have like those ability to do dynamic tasks. So you need to like high torque motors, gear reductions, so that they can act like human arms. So have low compliance and can control the stiffness and compliance. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not expert in that, but it's a tricky problem to solve.
Um, Now that you're situated in Croatia and you said that a lot of customers that you do have are from the US, how is it from building something for yourself and for university that you're working at and with, now shipping globally? Because there's always some uh, yeah, logistics coming in, right? So the part where you are a business owner, not an engineer, but now you're a business owner where you do need shipping and customs, and what about guarantees? What about yeah, all those things that are part of being an entrepreneur. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about this side of your work.
Yeah, at the beginning it was like hard. You need to like explore every those norms, what you need to follow and stuff like that. But I mean, if you have a good accountant and bookkeeper, it gets easier. But yeah, so at the beginnings are the most difficult, but after that you get used to doing it, and it's not really that hard. Like you just write up everything and follow some structure, and it gets easy. And at some time, then you hope that you can offload those boring and stupid tasks that engineers would call it to someone else. So yeah, it's easy now. It's easy part of doing business, I would say.
But very often, as people that don't have experience, when they're facing something that they don't have experience with, very often they feel overwhelmed. And you were talking about, it seems like my internet connection has the choose the best time to
Yeah.
being unstable. No, I was asking, you were talking about accelerator programs. Is that something that really helped you with, or is there something that you were finishing and finding out on your own?
I mean, it's so as a company, we are currently in two like accelerators here in Croatia, and I mean they are helpful. They teach you a lot of stuff. You are, I mean, you're sometimes in one of them. We are competing with other people for some prize money that will pitch to investors, and September. Like weaker for startup it's weaker than USA, but there's a lot of like in EU you can get a lot of money from EU funds if you have a good project, so you can so we are also aiming for that. And but yeah, those startup accelerators are useful, I would say. And if you have them in your country, and you have some kind of project, you should definitely like apply to them, because if you're in tech, like everybody will love you basically. So especially if you're in robotics, so you're basically in if you apply. So yeah.
So you think the hype is big enough that right now is really the time for builders to uh, gather their knowledge, but also gather their guts and spirit and braveness and just
Yeah,
apply
definitely.
and hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you're not in the stages like Source Robotics is now, with like we have and stuff, and the you can get just a limited amount of like mentoring from the mentors on those accelerators. But if you're in the earlier stages and you are like confused, oh, who will I sell to? What can I do? What is my business model? Is this even viable? I mean, I think that is really, really then useful. And because you're not risking a lot, because you probably don't have a company, you have a cool project, and they will guide you. They'll maybe even invest in you if they see some potential. So if you're in later stages, you're basically losing nothing, and and you will learn something. You will like test your idea. Is it viable? Is it not? And yeah, maybe win some money. So yeah.
I mean, you were saying this, right? You do need to bring your idea to those programs, and there's almost nothing that you can. I mean, there's no almost no downside, right? A lot of founders, especially very young ones, have the feeling that someone could steal their idea, right? Someone could come around and look what they're doing and then adopting it. Is that something that you have been afraid of in the past? That you're starting this takes off, and then you have some people following you on Twitter. Is there, what is your take on that?
I mean, if someone applied in the same accelerator as me in Croatia building robotic arms, I would be like happy and it would be awesome. But no, I'm not really afraid of like anything related to the project because we are trying to make most of the stuff open source. Some of the stuff that we are like closing is just the electronics part that like most people can't even build. So you either need to have some knowledge in the all PCB manufacturer and then having them assembled, closing it because because of those things. So we need to have something to sell and to make revenue from. And most people will just lose money and mess something up, thinking that they can build those PCBs, but they really can't. They need to have some knowledge of those processes and how it works, how you need to talk to your supplier, how to. So if you like want to build a robotic arm that needs 6 drivers and they're open source, and you send it to a PCB manufacturing facility, you will pay like 200 euros for one driver if it's a batch of 6. But if we build in source robotics batch of 1,000, we can sell them for 20 bucks. So you're basically just losing money. So if you're trying to do it everything yourself, if you're like so a huge proponent of open source. So yeah.
I mean, so there's two sides to this question, right? So you were talking now that you are actually in a position where you are able to build a lot of things on your own, right? But do you think this is the main advantage that you have, that you do know and have the knowledge and network and infrastructure to build the majority of those things on your own?
I mean, I think that we as a company have a huge advantage because all the like technology stack is ours. So we know we have all the PCB side of things, we have all the software and the knowledge to build those mechanical structures. So I mean, we could build this robotic arm with some off-the-shelf drivers and motherboards that we will like pay a fortune to use. But if we can build them ourselves for like 30 bucks, and by doing that make a project much cheaper, that is an advantage, I would say, yeah. And our next product we are trying to push on the market is those build DC drivers we will be doing for experimental robotics.
Excuse me,
Can be
the
can
connection was off
be
for a second. Maybe you can repeat. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was talking, we will be doing also another product that is BLDC drivers, and they will be used for like quadruped robots and for our new secret robotic arm. And yeah, that is advantage because we don't have to buy a driver from a competitor for 100 euros that is maybe closed or closed source or the code is closed, and we can build it cheaper, and we can build our products based on our technology stack, so our hardware and software. And a lot of other startups that are in that Twitter scene are like either using buying actuators from the suppliers and like paying, I don't know, 500 euros for a single actuator with so driver, motor, and gearbox. And if you're building let's say cheap robotic arm or humanoid robot, so robotic arm it's 6 actuators. it's 3,000 euros just for the actuators. Then you need the other like mechanical structure parts, controllers, supplies, and it gets a lot like expensive. And if you're building a humanoid, it's at least like what 20 or more actuators, and it's in range of what 10,000, 15,000 euros, and that's I mean that's a car, so it's expensive.
Are you in contact with them? Did some of those startups, open source humanoid robotics startups, approached you? Are you guys in contact? Are you guys chatting or exchanging?
Well, not really, because we still didn't officially launch those drivers, and they're more for
Your
like
product.
yes, for our products. They're mainly designed for our products, but they're also like open enough, and we were thinking enough in the future to make them easily deployed on other products. So it's like extensive documentation and stuff, but they're more built for like uh, arm manipulation stuff. So for the legs, they will need more current and more like those explosion power from the actuators, and these are like not really for that. Like maybe a bigger version if you build that will be for that, but for now they can use O drives and I know other products that are related.
Now that we see a lot of components coming out of China, what is your take on that? Especially as Europe is normally a country where technology is, yeah, pretty expensive. I mean, I think it might be different when you do a lot of things in-house, and especially Croatia compared to France or Britain and the UK or Germany is still a country where things are more affordable, so to speak.
I mean, in Croatia there is not a lot of industry for this, so you don't have a lot of like so in Germany you have a ton of car manufacturers, so you have a lot of those pick and place machines for car electronics and stuff like that. In Croatia there is like there is basically I don't know 10 pick and place machines in whole of Croatia. So you're either working with them, or you're either sending your boards to China, and I don't know. I think I, people are like mistaking themselves if they think that like a lot of they're not importing a lot of stuff from China, so it's they're more relevant than people think, I think.
Is your company is still quite young? I mean, you're not even 1 year old, right?
Yeah.
Are you? I mean, and here, please be so open as you like and closed as you like as well. So you've been part of a few accelerator programs. You say that you already have business, right? So can you say something about the growth that you have in mind? Do you would like to grow? Do you would like to bootstrap yourself? Are you looking for some investments? What is your take on that?
Yeah, so the goal is basically to bootstrap, but goal is to bootstrap if like my idea will come to like realization. But if something like like I don't know, some project explodes and someone approaches me with a really good offer, I would be stupid not to take it. But yeah, the plan is to try to expand, like I said, those educational equipment, education labs, and smaller companies. And with that new arm, we will try to jump into this AI hype, I would say, where there is a lot of like. As you said, embodied AI stuff. So we will try to make a really good robotic arm that will be easy to train. So like with dragging and dropping stuff, master slave like terminology, and yeah, try to ride that hype and see if we can like find a spot for us in that market. But yeah, so we are currently bootstrapping, and in the future, maybe some we will seek some investments. But yeah, it's always better to bootstrap, I would say, if you have the opportunity to do that.
I mean, it's a comfortable situation that you're in. Let's say you're cash positive, right? Then you're not aiming for how can I survive? How can I survive the next 6 months? How
Yeah.
can I survive the next 12 months? A few episodes ago, I was talking to Rémi Cadenne from Hugging Face. So he started the Le Robot initiative over there, and over the last few weeks, you really see people they're doing. I don't know if it's an official collaboration, but they are using the arms from Tau Robotics. So this is from Alexander Koch. And yeah, it seems like they're doing a pretty good job. And here we're talking about now really bringing the AI into place, right? The machine learning models, how to train the arm, what the arm is able to do. What is your idea about this? Because you said that I mean, there's always the hardware component and the software component, right? There's barely people that are very good at both things, right? And so, what do you see? Where do you see this company and the collaboration? Do you think this could be something for you as well, or?
Yeah, so I was like thinking, I know the project like Robot from the Hugging
Hmm?
Face, and I'm like hanging out in their Discord. I'm just trying to see what arm to build from them to try to implement some of those algorithms, because it would be like stupid to just try to immediately implement it on my robots, just to so start with their arm, see how it works, and then jump to our robotic systems. But yeah, I think there might be some collaboration there. I think the problem is with that there is a lot of so they had a YouTube series with like 7 videos explaining a lot of different research papers they did with models. So like GPT based model, diffusion based model, Aloha models. So it's really confusing and like difficult to pick one of those and try to implement it on your robot. And so I'm like buying my time here to just finish the robot and make a really easy API stack. So you can just plug in your PC or Ethernet connection on your local network and just really easy to control. And I'm hoping that in that time when the robot is finished, that some one model will like prevail and like rule them all and be easy to to implement. So yeah, that's kind of my aim and goal. So just wait for that one winner that that will win that embodied AI market for the robotic manipulation.
Um, I think I said it a few times and I say it again. I think this is for some people, very hard to grasp, but disruption comes from adoption, right? If you have a very good product and it's much faster and cheaper and better than all the other products, but no one is using it, there will be no success for this, right? And you were saying something that is very important, the the ease of use. So it works it works easy, not necessarily plug and place, but yeah, it works easy. It's easy to follow and easy to use, and then you can focus on the things you would actually like to do versus focusing on how to implement it, how to run it, how to build it. And is that something that comes naturally to you, or is that something you always need to focus on? For example, you're building something, you program something, and then you need
Oh,
to remind yourself, I need to do it more simple. I want to make it more simple, or people should be have certain level of skills and experience and knowledge to be able to do this.
I think that's definitely like maybe a skill that you will need to learn how to make stuff usable enough or maybe even simple enough for user to use it. But for the Parallel 6 arm, I think we did a good job on the like user interface and GUI for people to use it. But the source code is like all it's spaghetti code, so it's really messed up. But for newer versions, I'm basically I'm at the phase where I'm just like doing flow charts and graphic design in Figma, how to make it simple enough for people to use it, so have minimal stuff. And I'm also like starting to realize that you you don't even want to allow to users to install anything. So you need to. So our new goal is to have like a control box, and in that control box have like power for the robotic control and mini computer that will run the GUI that then you can connect from the like local network. So users don't have to install anything because it's I've seen a lot like in those like 200 or 300 robots that we sold. Some people don't even like know how to. They punch above their weight, I would say, in terms of how tech savvy they are, and so it needs to be simplified to the lowest level if you want to have most like user adoption and ease of use.
I remember that because in a startup you do a lot of things, right? Even though you have other responsibilities, it's always necessary that you go beyond your job description, so to speak. And the startup I was working before, I was involved just for a short period of time in also logistics and how to pack this stuff and what's included. So the very basic yeah, what's in stock, what should be within the package, what can we pre-install. And here I was really seeing that some people that are working on a daily basis with those things not necessarily are trained on this is a product someone else will using your product that you are surrounded by 24/7. So it makes sense to put a sticker on the cable and put a sticker on the camera and to really describe, so really thinking through the eyes of a customer who will receive the package, open the package. And because I remember that so I was working for a robotic software company, and the software was running on a computer, right, on a box. But you had a tablet also where the system was running at. So there was an app installed on the tablet, and I hope I'm not giving away some secrets here, but in the very early beginning, the tablet was not included. So you need to
Hmm.
buy your own tablet, and you do need to buy your own camera and camera lights and cable for the camera. And because you think you're a software company, so why should I put all the components? Because there's, you need to be offering the service for, and the guarantee for these components that you're selling. And also the money you need to invest to have them on stock, all those thoughts. But in the very end, then you see small or medium-sized companies and they are buying your product, nice. And then you need to tell them, yeah, sorry, you actually need a camera, and sorry, you actually need a tablet, and sorry, you actually need a cable, and sorry, you actually need a camera holder. So really, from the early beginning of building your product, thinking about the operator, not necessarily the management who pays the money for the product, right? I mean, in your case, it would be the professor, right? But now we're talking about the actually students. They're doing their bachelor thesis or master thesis. These are the ones who will hold your product in their hand and operate the product, right? Is there something that you were learning through trial and error, or was there guidance included? How did you manage?
I mean, it's still a work in progress, I would say. It's you. I think that's a thing that like you're always like trying to catch and you will never reach it. So that make it like a perfect product that is so easy to use that like your mother can plug in the motor driver and program it and do stuff like that. So the use is the customer will have some knowledge about some technical knowledge, but there are always like some tricks that you can use to make stuff simpler. So for our BLDC drivers, we found out that the most painful thing to do for us when we were building them was to calibrate the motors. So like I spent, I don't know, 4 months just building a calibration routine that is on the driver when you buy it. So you just plug it in the PC, plug it to your motor, any motor that has enough that is pulling like 2.8 amps, and you can calibrate it just from the terminal. But if we didn't try that, you would have to like calibrate the motor by hand with like you will need to have a lot of knowledge to just calibrate it. And by doing this, we saved users some time and like potentially found someone that will see that feature as really that will really appreciate that feature from us.
You said that you shipped already a few hundreds yeah, products. And are you staying in contact with them? Is there a constant feedback loop? Is there we were talking about the Discord channel from Le Robot. So how do you get in contact? How do you stay in contact? Because if you're
Yeah, we
such a
also
small company, there is no customer success manager who will call them
yeah,
after 3 weeks and 8 weeks and 2 months and 5 months. So please, what do you do?
yeah, we also have a Discord. So, but this most common problem. And people sharing their like builds. Look, I built your robotic arm, but it's green, and everybody's happy. But it's mostly from Discord, like email. We're doing some, let's say, Google forms, so to collect customer feedbacks. But yeah, that is also a thing that we need to improve here because it's difficult. There are people that the sole job is to do that, and me as a founder, it's difficult to just like take 3 days and talk with people, and then they need to reply. They reply in 3 weeks, and then you're doing something else. It's difficult. Yeah,
Yeah, because I was
but I
building up
think
the.
the forums and discords are like lifesaver for this kind of stuff, especially if people are like used to that kind of communication. Like some user robots and they're like, well, they don't know what this or is, that they will never install it and use it. But some younger folks, like they're using it for gaming or whatever, and they're just like, oh, this thing is not working, this wire is broken, what do I do? And he gets a solution for 3 minutes. Maybe it's not even from me, it's from some other Discord user that built a robot. So if you're with communicating via email, it's much slower. So yeah.
I mean, but this is, yeah, I think there's downsides and upsides of this regarding the social media, because you were mentioning this much earlier in the talk. You were saying something about you were sharing this, right? And there's a lot of inbound coming in because of this. Is that something that you would advise other founders, like build in public and really share your stuff on social media? Or is this something that you do for fun? Or is that something that you use strategically?
I mean, so I'm like for the Parallel 6 robot, I was sharing everything like as I was building it. And I think that is like the right approach. But for this newer arm, it's still not like ready enough to be shared. So we are practically building it in secret. So but here and there we share like some small snippet of some part that is doing something. But I think it depends on your project. If you're like sharing like a robotic arm that you're getting your phone on and it's struggling and it's, I don't know, stumbling around and being broken, like don't share that. Share something that is like your robot doing useful tasks, like some fluid motions or I don't know, but that's maybe even a wrong approach. If you're sharing your like failures, maybe like you inspire people to like look, we failed in this month, we failed in this month, and here we see some progress, and here we have a I don't know, walking robot or robot arm in motion. So it all depends on your like philosophy, I would say. But we're now trying to like focus on more like curated and focused content. So like good quality videos, not something that's filmed with like your backside camera or something. So yeah, but that takes effort again. So it's I don't know.
I mean, people really appreciate good stylish videos where you can see tech, right? Not sales videos, not marketing videos, but really tech videos. But this is within the bubble we are in. As you know, or might know, I am active on LinkedIn as well. And here you can see there's always people who would like to be entertained versus some people that are really interested in tech, right? So I do think it also depends a little bit, not only on the product, but also on the platform and the audience.
Yeah, I'm not really that active on LinkedIn, but I plan to like expand that. But on Instagram and Twitter, uh, I can say that yeah, the communities are different. On Twitter, it's much more, and I didn't expect it. I just joined in like I don't know in the beginning of this year, and it's really like you say, it's like a small Twitter bubble where everybody is like everybody that is doing robotic arms, robotic humanoids, quadrupeds is connected with that algorithm, and everybody knows who is doing what, and it's really working. It's doing it's doing its job, I would say. But on Instagram, it's more like, oh, look, this is a cool, like we share those differential drive gearboxes. And that is like our most shared post. And our Instagram account exploded to like 23,000 followers just because of that one silly video. It's where I was like, look, this the spinning gears, it's cool. And everybody's like liking it. It has like 10 million likes or whatever. But yeah, different communities, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's because of the yeah. So my internet connection seems to be horrible today. Sorry for that.
It's fine.
The I think it depends on the platform, right? Because Instagram is a very visual platform, and X or Twitter X is now trying to become a video platform because they're pushing videos very hard. And but it used to be a text form, right? So people really need to read and talk, right? So versus on Instagram, it's just scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. If it catches my attention within 3 seconds, then I give a like. So I think. Maybe I'm generalizing here, but maybe a little bit more superficial than within the tech bubble that we are in on X.
Yeah, definitely. It's more for from people that are maybe not even interested in that, but they're seeing like, whoa, this is cool, and here's a like, and
Stylish.
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's also good because you can then like target uh, some of those people, and maybe they see your robot arm or drivers or whatever, and they get interested into that, and maybe try to build it and like support you or support the community. Maybe you inspire someone to get into that field or just to tinker around and build something. So it's still I would say relevant. Those those you will inspire some people to do something with that.
It's nice that your first thought is towards inspiration or inspiring other people. I think other people would have said, um, so how can I monetize this? How can I generate leads with that, right? Because this is a conversation that I'm having with a friend of mine at the moment. How to do content that has meaning. And brand awareness or inspiring people is a meaning, right? But for a lot of companies, and actually for all companies, if you don't have as much inbound as you have, you do need to make content or marketing that is also generating leads and generating business, right? This is how the world is, and this is the world. This is the way advertisement needs to work somehow, also, right? Educating people about your product, educating people about the benefits of your product, also about features, and yeah, it's. I think it's an interesting topic for itself.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, you're always like if you're making that content, you're always hoping that it will get you some leads, but it depends how you look on it. So you're mostly sharing stuff because it's cool and look, our robot can do this and that, and you can also count that as a like a lead that will maybe generate you some sales.
Hmm. I mean, the most effective one that you were mentioning earlier is the word of mouth, right? You're selling one unit in Switzerland, and then there's a
Yeah.
PO incoming for 10 more units. So I think this is the best thing you can actually do. And I
Yeah,
think that it's the most cost efficient as actually to.
yeah, that's like a proof that you're doing something cool, because if that person that bought it and maybe use it or build it was like, oh, dude, this is trash, don't buy it, I would not have those 10 other people from Switzerland buying it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a kind of proof that you're doing something correct, I would say, or doing something good that's useful.
You were mentioning that you are working on a secret robot arm. What else is, as we are coming towards the ends of the episode, what else is planned for you that you can share with us? Is there anything that you say, thanks for listening, and now as a little nugget, there's something I would like to say? You don't have to. I'm just asking. Maybe it's something personal. You would like to go to the US or Japan or whatever you like.
Yeah, so that new robotic arm is will be finished, I would say, in the next year. But soon we will launch the BLDC drivers that are used to control those arms, and we also have some compliant grippers that can be used for those embodied AI applications and the teaching applications that we shared some clips on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, but we didn't officially launch them because we didn't have stock, but now we do. And that's kind of our plan. So yeah, just launch some new products and focus on building that new arm. And in return, that new arm will also transfer like its tech to the new version of Parallel 6, so our the main selling arm. So yeah, I'm hoping that next year we will have a lot of new and interesting products. And maybe that one AI model will appear and we will have all AI controlled robot arms. So who knows?
Let's see how fast this one is going. So I
Yeah,
hope the AI robotics bubble is not exploding too soon because I'm in the middle of it. So, and you as well. So let's see if we can make out of it. I'm very happy that you said yes, especially as you were not very visible on social media, right? You're not showing your face too much. So I'm very happy that you said yes. And yeah, thanks for taking the time.
yeah. Thank you for inviting me, and you will blur me, so it's okay.
Then say hello to all the other ones who are supporting your project. And yeah, whenever you are in the area near Stuttgart, please let me know. And the next time I will be in the Balkans, I will let you know. So then let's see what we can do.
Sure, we'll see each other sometime.
Then take care. Yes,
Thank
then
you.
take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.